Yo, this week I'm gonna be turning this guy into Mystic Leo from the 2012 series. Got a bunch of stuff. I think I'm gonna make his clothes either out of tape or I have some of this fabric material that came from a curtain. This is gonna be a sword. I have this from my knockoff splinter, so that's gonna be for his quiver. This is the sword I'm modeling this sword after. This bow is from Super Ninja Leo. First, I'm gonna start to take him apart, so let's So I start off with sanding his face because the face is not gonna work with what I'm going for, the Mystic Leo from the 2012 series. There he is. And now I'm using green stuff to fill in his eyes. I want his eyes to be smaller. And then I have some tools. I wet the tool. That's just like a plastic palette knife and some silicone tools to get the shape there, but I'm gonna sand it later to make it look better. Now I have, that's like a bamboo stir stick, and I cut it just with scissors. Would have been better with a saw, but I'm lazy. Then I sanded it with my Dremel to give it the shape of a blade of a sword. Now after 24 hours the green stuff dried and I sanded that. And then I fill in all the cracks that were left and any little bumps or whatever with spackling, and that is like for filling small holes on drywall, but it works great because it only takes like 15 to 20 minutes to dry. And now I have some hockey stick tape. It's a fabric tape, and I'm just cutting pieces that I'm going to use for his belt, and this is for the strap that holds his quiver. His swords are on his belt. And now I'm covering him with a matte acrylic varnish to get him ready to take paint. And now I have a white primer and white acrylic that I'm painting all the white spots, or they're gonna be like gray and dirty, but white-ish. So I give everything a coat of that, his pads and just his pads and stuff on him, and his mask on his head. Now I'm using a hunter green for my base coat on him, and I'm not trying to like cover him. If a little of the lighter shows through, I like it. I just like to do a light coat. And now I have titanium white. I'm just getting in his eyes, and now I have a toothpick and I'm just doing little dots all over him because I noticed watching the cartoon that he has a lot of little white and black dots, and I thought, how do they do that? They'd add them and then they like lower the opacity. So I'm going to do it backwards. I'm going to add them and then I'm just going to put a lighter green on top so they show through a bit. Yeah. I have raw sienna on his shell. I use the navy blue for his mask, and then dry brush some raw sienna on the back of his shell, or his back shell. I have cinnamon brown. I'm going in all the cracks on his chest to darken those up and bring those out. Now I have a daffodil yellow, and I'm like covering his chest but kind of dry brushing. I don't really want to go in any of the cracks where I put the cinnamon brown, but I'm gonna add some more cinnamon brown where I put too much daffodil yellow when I did that. Now I chose a grass green for his skin tone, and I'm dry brushing that onto all of his skin, just trying to let the little dots I did show through a little, and some of the darker green, especially on the muscles. Now that's from Super Ninja Leo, and I cut out the arrow there because I always thought it was weird that they come with an arrow stuck in it, because I want to be able to pose him, because when he's holding it he doesn't have an arrow stuck in it. I don't know, I cut off the arrow. Now I cover the quiver with a little bit of the tape, and some of the tape that I folded up earlier I just cut out little pieces to go in a circle to make the part of his hood that hangs on his shoulders. Yeah. Then I use tape to tape it together, and then I add some pieces folded in to start making the hood, and I just keep adding on to the hood till it built it big enough. Now I'm doing wraps with the tape on his arm, and some are just wraps around and some are just a thick piece of tape because he has kind of different stuff. And then another piece that covers one hand. And I mixed a little bit of gray into the white. I think I did that. Yeah, and then I cover everything with it. Well, just the tops of the arrow and all the white spots, because I want them to still have a little bit of the white from the tape, but also have this lighter gray, but you can't really see it on the camera. Then I do silver on the blades of the sword that I shaved down or sanded down earlier, and I do some silver on the little bolts or screws on his quiver there, and another coat of the matte acrylic varnish, and that's going to seal up especially the tape, because I'm going to be putting a wash on all these spots soon, and I don't want it to soak in too much. So now I have a black wash. It's just black acrylic and water, about, I don't know, 30 to 40% paint, and navy blue on the tops of the arrows. What are those called? The arrow. But then I wipe it off quickly on the tape material there, or I just let it go dark in spots, because that's kind of the dirty look he has in the cartoon episodes. And Hunter Green, his bow is like made out of a tree, it looks like. I don't know, it looks green with a little bit of brown. Now I chose a true burgundy for the, well, it'll be like where the wraps are on his swords. And I cover that, and then black wash. I put it on his legs first so it dries a little so I can hold it when I put it on his upper body. Then a little gold on the butt of his sword, and I chose a real brown for the leather wrap on his bow. And that's just 2mm foam, and I cut a slit so I can put the sword through. Then I glue it down at the base of the hilt. I should have painted that silver, but I didn't end up painting it. I forgot, ran out of time. Now I'm gluing down his hood and his strap, because it had to go over the hood part, and then his belt goes over that. That was just hockey tape. I folded into like 3 lengthwise. Then I glued down the hood, and I thought I'd be done, so I glued on his sword and his quiver of swords. But the hood didn't look right, so now I put another piece of tape over it and cut it into more the style, and then go through the whole process of painting it and then adding matte acrylic varnish to it, and then other spots that needed some varnish as well. Then I put a black wash on it, just all the same steps that I did with the rest of the fabric. Now he's done. That's how I did it. I hope this was enjoyable. Next week I think I'm gonna do Venus, and so until then, remember, always keep your head up. Peace.